warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bismillah Rahmanir Rahim. Explanation of Bismillah Rahmanir Rahim. Listen cordially from your heart. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent and the most merciful. The two words Al-Rahman and Al-Rahim, or Ar-Rahman or Ar-Rahim, form an important part of Surah Fatiha. These two attributes of Allah occur in the Holy Quran 57 and 95 times respectively. It is therefore equally natural for an inquisitive mind to try to comprehend the significance of these two attributes out of the innumerable gifts and blessings through which Allah Rahmanir Rahim has manifested His Rahmat and vindicated the truth of the attributes under discussion. Only a few are cited for you from different fields of science. Number one, let us start with life story of man in the mother's womb. Here in the womb, there is an almost closed chamber filled with a fluid. This chamber is a novel device in which the boundless mercy of Allah is manifested by the fact that that is oil fortified to protect the immersed fetus from external shock and invasion of harmful germs. In this ideal environment, the fetus is nourished, developed, and fashioned from a teeny fertilized ovum to a full-grown baby. The survival of the baby in the womb without respiration furnishes yet another surprise. The mechanism of safe delivery of a 4 to 8 pound baby through a narrow passage also provides another example of the merciful device of Allah. Number two, it is Allah the merciful who arouses immeasurable love in the hearts of parents, but for which the survival of the baby in an alien environment of this world cannot be thought of. This sort of filial affection is also found in all living beings. Number three, on its release to earth, the baby finds readily available the most ideal nourishment in the milk from the mother's breast. Number four, on birth, the baby finds greatest and also in abundance an atmosphere of air, moisture, heat, and light by gracious decree of Allah, but for which his existence on earth would have been impossible. It may be pointed out is a oil-balanced mixture of oxygen, nitrogen, moisture, and carbon dioxide in right proportions to nourish and sustain normal life. The balanced nature of the constituents of air is also maintained almost constantly by Allah, providing self-regulating cycles among plants, animals, and microorganisms. Number five, besides Allah has provided numerous protective devices in the human body in the form of tenacious yet soft skin, covering with its wonderful power of regeneration and repair and its immeasurable sensory nerve endings, the power of blinkings and the formation of tears in the eyes to remove foreign bodies and keep the cornea moist. Here in the nasal and ear entrances to prevent free access of harmful foreign bodies. Eyebrows to act as shades against glaring light. Finger and the two nails, Allah Akbar, which confer firmness. The thumb with its special ability to press, controlling sphincters of urethra and anus to prevent incontinence. coagulating power of blood in the right mesoid to prevent excessive hemorrhage, etc. Number 6. The function of internal organs like the heart, which pumps blood, lungs, which purifies blood by inhaling oxygen and exhaling carbon dioxide, intestines, which digest and absorb the nutrients, the liver, which mainly detoxicates the injurious chemicals, kidneys, which filter the blood, and the brain, Allahu Akbar, Subhanallah, Alhamdulillah, Subhanallah, Alazim, which controls both voluntary and involuntary function of the body without any conscious effort of the individual concerned, is another proof of Allah's mercy to us. Number 7. Production of antibodies in the human system to fight against diseases, producing germs and other harmful agents also speak of Allah's mercy. It is Allah, Rahmanir, Rahim, who has very graciously made provision for various types of nourishing food materials for mankind, in fact for all living beings, in the form of fruits, grains, vegetables, meat, fish, etc. The most important, so number 9, the most important source of energy of our earth is the sun. The electromagnetic radiations emanating from the sun include long wavelength radio waves, infrared rays, visible light, shorter ultraviolet rays, and X-rays. Solar wind originating from the outer atmosphere of the sun contains ions and electrons which bombard the earth at a tremendous velocity of 9 lakh miles per hour. Allahu Akbar. Violent activity sometimes occurs in the regions around the sun spots, causing solar flares, during which highly energetic particles, Allahu Akbar, Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Azim, the Subhan Bikul Lisana Yamaskuran Fikul Lemakan, X-rays and other radiations of the spectrum reach the earth. Cosmic rays constantly bombarding the outer atmosphere of the earth are nuclei of atoms moving at tremendous velocities. This mostly originate from the sun and perhaps from supernova or explosion of a star. When cosmic rays interact with the Earth's atmosphere, they produce X-rays. Apart from these various solar activities, producing lethal X-rays and ultraviolet rays, a type of neutron stars called X-ray pulsars produce tremendous amount of lethal X-rays. The intensity of solar wind, cosmic rays, ultraviolet rays, and X-rays would have proved lethal to life on Earth if Allah the Merciful did not make provision for ingenious filtering devices in the atmosphere for various ways. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala nabina Muhammad subhanallah al-azim, and a tracking device T2, the Earth's magnetic field for electrons and ions, by means of which these direct radiations and particles are prevented from reaching our Earth. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, Subhanallah al-azim. Allahumma aqsim mali bighairi hisab, Allahumma arzuqni fi rizqi bighairi hisab. Number 10, Allah Jalla manifests His blessings in yet another unique creation of His, which water. Its full in the existence of the biological world needs no elucidation. The most important part that water plays in the protection of aquatic life from freezing to death needs perhaps a little elaboration. It is the only substance so far known which stains are in the liquid state at 4 degrees. Then when it solidifies to ice at 0 degree Celsius constantly, the solid ice sheet at Subhanallah Subhanallah al-Azim, or below 0 degree Celsius floats on water. The ice sheet, it may be stated, acts as an insulator, because of which the whole of water content of lakes for existence may not be frozen to solid ice, even though the atmosphere of air above the ice sheet remains below the freezing point for a long period. Subhanallah bihamdihi, Subhanallah. On the other hand, if ice were heavier than water, it would sink at the bottom and gradually build up from their lakes, rivers, and ponds in cold climate regions and Arctic seas would be frozen as solid ice. Consequently, almost all aquatic life would have frozen to death. The unique property by which ice floats on freezing is the manifestation of the infinite mercy of Allah Rabbul Alamin for life to thrive and prosper even in the hostile cold climatic region. Thus, as one ponders over creation, one comes across countless examples of Allah's mercy and beneficence. Subhanallah, Hamdi Subhanallah Azim. Reference Baki MFA Al Mujammil Mujammul Upahars Li Al Fajli Quran 1364 by 1944, page 307. Now, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Explanation of Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Praise be to Allah, the sustainer and the series of the worlds. Subhanallah wa bihamdi subhanallahil azim. Allahumma aksir mali bi ghairi hisab. Allahumma arzuqni fi rizqi bi ghairi hisab. Allahumma aksir mali wa la awladi. Allahumma aghfirli bi halalika wa rahmika wa aghnini bi fadlika wa man siwak. Ya subhan bi kulli lisan wa maskuran fi kulli maqal. Allahumma aksir mali bi ghairi hisab. Allahumma aksir mali bi ghairi hisab. Ya Rabbul Alamin, Ya Rahmanir Rahim, Ya Rabbul Alamin, Ya Rabbul Arshil Kareem. Rabbi habli mulkan la yanbaghi li ahad. The meaning of Rabbul Alamin is that Allah is the sustainer and the creator of the worlds. The plural use of the word world refers in the conventional sense to the plant world, animal world, human world, and the material world. Allahu Akbar. Ya Subhan bi kulli maskuran fi makan. Subhanallah wa bihamdi subhanallahil azim. Ya Razzaqul ibad huwa quwwatul matin. Ya Razzaqul ibad huwa quwwatul matin. Allahumma aksir wali fi gharis. Allahumma arzuqni fi rizqi bi ghairi hisab. Allahumma arzuqni fi rizqi bi ghairi hisab. Allahumma aksir mali bi ghairi hisab. In order to comprehend the significance of the use of the plural form worlds, one has to recognize that there are worlds within and beyond our familiar world. Modern scientific knowledge enables one to classify these worlds in terms of a length scale. How big or how small is the unit of this scale? In the case of the elementary particles like photon, the unit is of the order of 10 to the power minus 13 cm centimeter or less. On the other hand, the size of the known part of the universe is about 220 cm. What is a tremendous difference in size between the smallest and the largest of the creation of Allah that we have known till now. Subhanallah wa hamdi subhanallah alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Such a big scale may be divided conveniently into four types of parts or size. Number one, from the proton to the world of giant molecules. Number two, from cyan molecules to plants and animals. Number three, our planet Earth, 9 to the power 9 cm. Number four, from our planet to the known part of the universe. The differentiation of the length scale in the above four parts may be arbitrary, but these parts represent four different kinds of force. Worlds. The interesting thing is that matter behaves differently in different regions. The length scale. This may become apparent as we discuss the inherent characteristics of the different worlds. Allah, worlds of size. 1. Let us consider the microcosmos, the world of elementary particles, nuclei, atoms, etc. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. The laws of this world are not directly perceptible to our sense. We cannot see the constituents of this world. For example, we cannot see an atom. To understand why we cannot see very small things, we have to comprehend what the act of observation actually means. When we observe an object, light waves to scatter from it and enter into our eyes. Without such scattering, things would not make themselves disappear to us. Now, if a light wave falls on an object and completely engulfs it, then obviously light cannot be scattered from this object. Thus, for light to scatter from any object, the size of the object must be larger than the wavelength of physical light inside it. The size is smaller than the wavelength of the light. So when a light wave falls on an atom, it covers the whole of the atom, and as a result, the light cannot be scattered. Hence, the atom cannot be seen. In order to collect information about the atom, we have to employ wavelengths smaller than the size of the atom. But these waves are not visible to our eyes. These are or more powerful gamma rays in comparison to the visible light waves. These small waves, these small waves are much more energetic. The investigation of atoms with these energetic waves is beset with a problem. To have information at a certain moment about a particle means that we must determine its position and momentum. But when powerful is employed to determine the whereabouts of an electron, for example, namely where it is and what it is doing, its position and momentum, when the quanta of this radiation give a heavy result to the thereby disturbing both its position and momentum. Allahu Akbar, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Other akhlaqa, the diffracted radiation, of course, gives some information about the position and a momentum of the electron, but these are not the position and the momentum which the electron would have had if it were not disturbed by the radiation quanta. Thus, there is some uncertainty in the information about the electron at the time the radiation quanta infing on it. The uncertainties in the measurements of position and momentum, however, are not unrelated. In fact, the product of these uncertainties is of the order of which this is known as Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. All these demonstrate that the truth which we obtain about the state of the electron by using powerful radiation is only an apparent truth and not the real truth. The degree of departure of the apparent truth from the real truth would depend on how much we have disturbed the object while observing. This point to an important philosophical aspect of the micro world, namely that in such worlds, the very act of observation is a kind of disturbance, and the measure has an interaction with the measured, a feature hitherto unseen. The world of the large, in fact, the micro world is guided by different kind of mechanics, namely quantum mechanics, which is quite distinct from classical mechanics, which governs the motion of matter on a big scale. Thus, the laws of motion of the small and the laws of motion of the large are dramatically different from each other. This provides us with further support for classifying worlds in the worlds and length of a length scale. Worlds of size 2. Objects of these worlds are directly perceptible to our senses. We see them, and the interesting thing is that while we see them, we do not actually disturb them as we do in the world of these teenage things. Why we do not disturb things where here in the act of observation can gain be made clear through the examples of observing an ant. The size of the ant is much larger than the wavelength of visible light. Thus, light can be easily scattered from the ant, and that being so, the ant can easily be seen through photons, the particle of light. impinging on the end to give a salt, but this salt is hardly appreciable in view of the heavy mass of the ant compared to the mass of an electron considered earlier while discussing the behavior of the microworld, since the act of observation does not bring about any appreciable change in the position and momentum of the objects observed. The observer in these worlds does not influence event here. The misal does not disturb the misal law of Akbar. Also, classical mechanics seems to be perfectly suitable for describing kinematic behavior in these worlds. Worlds of size 3, the planet Earth has been given a unique position in the classification of worlds on the basis of a length scale. This is because the lives and environments of many an organism, including man, the bystander of Allah, have been conditioned by Allah through the atmosphere, gravitational field, and the motion of the earth, etc. The rotation of the earth on its axis and around the sun provides sun provides a standard of time. The circumference of the earth, appropriately subdivided into smaller sections, provides us with this standard of length. The gravitational pull of the earth is a vital phenomenon for all life existence on its surface. The interaction between the land, water, and air systems to the earth determines the delicate ecological balance in favor of the existence of all life forms on the planet Earth. This planet also helps us understand to some extent the magnitude of the vastness of the universe in relation to its own size. Thus, considered from many points of view, the planet Earth occupies a sufficiently privileged position so as to be called a world by itself. The motion of the planet is regulated by classical mechanics and is predictable one. World of size 4. Here we are far out into space and are dealing an almost occasion with large distances and large masses, although the laws and concept of Newtonian physics are used in the motion of such masses. Both the special and the general theory of relativity are involved for the accurate description of the motion. This because of the large distance involved. The information about the microcosmos is usually obtained with the help of radio signals. Since the range of size 4 is very large, a large number of the worlds can be accommodated within this range. In fact, it is quite likely that such worlds, living and non-living, with all their wonderful varieties, may exist elsewhere in the universe in a form identical with or presumably different from our own. The Earth is a planet to the star, the Sun. The Sun is a star belonging to the galaxy, the Milky Way, which contains about 100 billion stars, and about 100 million galaxies have so far been detected in the universe. Stars with properties regarding mass, surface, temperature, luminosity, present and future age in the stable condition on the main sequence, etc., which are comparable to those of the Sun, most probably have planets revolving around them with Earth-like characteristics. About a quarter of the stars of the Milky Way galaxy have such properties. Making allowance for binary and multiple stars, it is estimated that there are about 20 billion such stars in our galaxy alone. Considering the identified 100 billion galaxies and making allowance for all sorts of handicaps, it is undoubtedly very cautious estimated that there are at least 1 billion stars with planets having life on them. Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah, Subhanallah, life chemistry on the earth depends on the production of complex carbon compounds and the presence of liquid water as solvent in other habitable planets of other stars. Life chemistry may be identical with that on the Earth or may be different. For example, silicon may replace carbon as the basic biochemical element. Liquid ammonia may play the role of solvent, etc. The present estimate is that each star like the Sun with lifetime base of years in star condition. Nonetheless, in sixth, at least one planet lies to 1948, 40 different kinds of complex molecules, including some organic molecules like formaldehyde, cellulose, that have been created in interstellar medium. This is how indicator life may have also evolved somewhere in the universe. The above casts on the different type of world, but the if ahead that is the same world and not as the sustainer of the worlds. All these fine traces and characteristics of the different worlds would not appear to be so meaningful. In fact, the different worlds that we have characterized so far in terms of a length scale, which is the only basic thing we have been able to measure so far, are different in all aspects. Each type of world has its own structure, its own proving techniques, its own mechanics, and it is Allah alone who has all the information about all the worlds, apart from the material worlds and their classification discussed above. One may also wonder about the spiritual world. However, with all the tools and techniques of modern scientific methodology at our disposal, the spiritual world does not lend itself to an analysis in the same sense that living or non-living matter does. It could very well be that the present scientific methodology accepted so far for the study of matter is quite inadequate to probe the mysteries of the spiritual world, or it is for this reason that we have not been able to fail on the spiritual world, which is best perceived through personal experience. Substance of the worlds. يا سبحان بكل لسان مذكورا في كل مكان سبحان الله العظيم وبحمده ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. So far we have discussed only the structures of the different worlds. Now let us talk of their sustenance. Whether a world is smaller or big, Allah has made wonderful arrangement for the sustenance of all the inhabitants of that world. In this connection, let us consider the world of the small. A large number of microorganisms surround our life and environment, and without many of these, our existence would be endangered. Some of the microorganisms, example virus, bacteria, microscope, fungi, etc., are so small that they cannot be seen by the naked eye unless aided by a powerful microscope. الله أكبر يا سبحان بكل السماء مذكورا في كل مكان ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك اللهم اكفني بحلالك عن حرامك واغنني بفضلك من سواك اللهم اكفني بحلالك عن حرامك واغنني بفضلك من سواك اللهم اكفني بحلالك عن حرامك واغنني بفضلك من سواك يا أرحم الراحمين يا أرحم الراحمين يا حلال المشكلات يا حلال المشكلات يا كافي المهمات يا رافع الدرجات الحي القيوم يا حي يا قيوم برحمتك أستغيث اللهم إني أعوذ بك من الهم والحزن والسوء والكسل وأعوذ بك من السبن والبخل وأعوذ بك من غلبة الدين والوصال ربنا تقبل دعائي ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم اللهم فطير السماوات والأرض عليم الغيب والشهادة والرحمن الرحيم اللهم إني أشهد إليك في هذه الحياة الدنيا بأني أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد صلاة تنسينا بها من جميع الأحوال والآفات وتقضي لنا بها من جميع الحاجات وتطهرنا بها من جميع السيئات وترفعنا بها عندك على الدرجات وتبلغنا بها من أقصى الغايات من جميع الخيرات في الحياة بعد الممات إنك على كل شيء قدير اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد صلاة تنسينا بها من جميع الأهوال والآفات وتقضي لنا بها من جميع الحسد وتطهرنا بها من جميع السيئات ترفعنا بها عندك ولا الدرجات وتبلغون بها من أقصى الغايات من جميع الخيرات في الحياة بعد الممات إنك على كل شيء قدير. اللهم صل وسلم على نبينا محمد صلى الله أن محمدا ما هو حوله صلى الله أن محمدا ما هو حوله. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد عبدك ورسولك وصل على المؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد عبدك ورسولك وصل على المؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد عبدك ورسولك وصل على المؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد كلما ذكره الذاكرون وكلما غفل عن ذكره الغافلون. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Next we will see after next video if Allah alive in this world. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Please follow my channel or subscribe my channel, like, comment. Will be continue. Don't neglect. May Allah bless you. May you live long.